I'm already a millionaire in my mind. I may not see it yet, but I believe it now. In the same way a seed is called by its finished form, I'm accepting my divine inheritance as a child of God. I'm meant to have life and have it more abundantly. My treasure on earth shall correspond directly to the treasure in the heaven of my mind. Abundance is my birthright. Ashe, amen, and so it is. My name is Jullien Gordon, and I'm author of Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. After becoming a multimillionaire through real estate investing, I was moved by God at the beginning of the pandemic to share my money mindset that allowed me to quit my job in January of 2009 at the bottom of the last recession and achieve full financial freedom. I own my mental real estate before I own any physical real estate. This book is like some of your favorites: Rich Dad, Poor Dad, As a Man Thinketh, Think and Grow Rich, and the Bible all in one. But the divine downloads and thoughts that are in here are 100% original and came to me over a 6-month period at the beginning of the pandemic. This book is normally $100 on Amazon if you went there right now, but I want to give you access to it for free by inviting you to our next reading group. Yes, the reading group is 100% free. Every weekday for 100 days straight, I'll be reading and discussing the 10 money commandments in the book that make money come to you in your life easily, more frequently, and abundantly. And it will take about 30 to 45 minutes as we read 3 to 5 pages per day until we finish the book and reprogram your mind around money. Why 100 days? Well, if you are 30 years old, you've lived for 10,950 days. And we have to deprogram and reprogram the negative, scarcity-based money mindset society has taught you. And I believe I can do that in just 1% of the time in about 100 days. I'm done with shelf help. You know, when you buy a book to change your life, but you never read it, it just sits on your bookshelf and collects a whole bunch of dust. We off that. When is the last time you had an author actually read their book to you out loud because they cared about you getting the information in your soul? I'm not just here to get this book in your hands. More importantly, I want to get it in your head and your heart, because that's where the real transformation occurs, in the conscious and the subconscious mind. As scripture says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not the type of book that you just read once. To renew the subconscious mind requires repetition over and over and over. So if you joined us last time, I encourage you to join us again. I myself have read this book over 10 times already. So click the link to join our next reading group, and when you sign up, I'm going to give you the first 2 chapters of the book for absolutely free on what is money and abundance is your birthright, so that you can start your journey to a more abundant life today. Rich Rise, and welcome to another day of Read Rich and Righteous. We're reading Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. We are now on day number 48. We're on day number 48, or our 48th reading during this 100-day money mindset reprogram. We started this section on the 6 forms of capital, which are everything that God has already given you to create and manifest the life that you desire. Remember from yesterday, God does not typically give us the actual thing that we want. God gives us the ability to create and manifest the thing that we want. God didn't give Noah a boat. God gave Noah wood. God didn't give Jesus 5,000 fish. God gave Jesus 2 fish, right? And with faith, Noah, Jesus, David getting the slingshot, right? With those things and faith, then the manifestation occurred, right? Then what was desired occurred. And so in order to get things to come to us, they're going to come through us. And we are starting to understand what is actually in us already. The reason many of us have not gotten more from God is because we haven't used everything that we already have. And so the 6 forms of capital really put us in a position to really understand what we have. And the way we put those things together as asset alchemists, right? The way we put those things together actually will shape what we are able to create and manifest in our lives. Everything that we need and desire is already here. It is here right now. It is for our mind to be able to put them together in a unique way based on our unique blueprint, our unique DNA, our unique experiences, right? Our unique abilities. The way we put those together will actually determine what actually shows up in our life, right? And so I see the consistency scores here. I see some 48 still. That's beautiful. I see some low 40s. I see some 30s. Again, we don't do this for comparison. We just do this to document and to celebrate the consistency of those who have been here. And if you are behind, you know that you can go to richrightnow.com, and on the thank you page, you can get the replays by either getting the ebook version of the book, or you can get physical copies. And with any purchase comes the replays from Read Rich and Righteous. All right. So I want to get straight into it. Today, we're going to conclude the second form of capital. Yesterday, we started with personal capital, which is how well you know yourself. We got halfway into intellectual capital, which is what you know. So we're going to finish intellectual capital today. Then we're going to go into social capital, and we're going to dabble a little bit into financial capital. And then that'll conclude today's reading. This is one of the meatiest chapters in the book, and so we will finish this tomorrow. All right. Yes, graduation will be on December 9th in Atlanta in person. We'll also be on Zoom, and you can go reserve your spot for graduation at rrgraduation.com. That's rrgraduation.com. For those of you who are new to the family, you can go to richrightnow.com to access get free access to this challenge, this daily challenge, excuse me, and also get the ebook or the physical copy of the book. All right. Cool. So I want to get straight into the reading right away. Let's do it. So we're on page 252. We got about 6 pages to read today. So let's get into it. And we're going to be exploring the Passion Finder today. Like I said, I will probably be teaching the Passion Finder exercise at graduation. I'll do a little teaching because this is more of an exercise, but today we're going to talk about it. Okay. So let's get into it. We're on the second paragraph on page 252. Type I got it when you got it. Type I got it when you got it. All right, let's do it. Whatever you are passionate about or interested in, I encourage you to map out the entire economy around that passion by listing all the skills or actions related to it so that you can see all the ways that people get paid in that industry. This exercise is called the Passion Finder. Let's take fashion, for example. The skill sets around this passion include modeling fashion, photographing fashion, buying fashion, marketing fashion, designing fashion, teaching fashion, selling fashion, and distributing fashion. And there's probably many more. And then we can get more specific by adding the type of fashion one specializes in, such as photographing jewelry, designing winter clothes, marketing suits, or selling watches. Every action listed has a job associated with it. And so it's really important that when you're thinking about your passion, you think about it in the present subjunctive, meaning that you think about it as an action verb with an ing, right? So all of these actions I said, photographing fashion, modeling fashion, buying fashion, you want to think about it as an action because with every action within an industry, there is a job associated with it. All right. Some of you have been so laser focused on your job that you actually don't understand your entire industry in depth. How did that thing get from here to there? Who did that? Right? How did this happen? Who built that? Why do we pay them? Who are they? What do they do? How do they contribute? How do they contribute to the larger vision? Okay. So this is really an exercise for you to understand the economy around the industry that you may be in if that's where you intend to stay. And so the way we map that out in the Passion Finder is that there's action verbs over here. Then fashion is the interest that is in the middle. And we talked about interest yesterday. And then we have descriptors that actually help you find your niche within that industry, right? So modeling pants, and you can cross-reference these. So modeling pants, photographing pants, buying pants, marketing pants, designing pants, teaching pant making, selling pants, distributing pants. There's people who do all of those actions, but then guess what? You can change it. Modeling jewelry, photographing jewelry, buying jewelry, marketing jewelry, right? So you can literally take these verbs and go either which way in the Passion Finder, all right? So every action listed has a job associated with it. From this laundry list of skills, you can now choose one or two you are going to master and find employment or entrepreneurial opportunities that will allow you to monetize that skill set. So in chat, I want you to type in what interest word would you put in the middle of your Passion Finder? What interest word, what industry, topic, subject would you put in the middle, right? Is it sports? Is it fashion? Is it health? Is it education? Is it technology, right? Is it black people? Is it children? Is it health, right? What would be in the middle for you? What would be in the middle for you? And then from there, you map out all the actions in that industry and all the niches or descriptors in that industry, and then from there you identify one or two that you want to seek to master. So remember, mastery is intentional, and money follows mastery. So we need to be intentional about what we're mastering. You don't just stumble into mastery. You have to intentionally commit to being a master of something. When you think of the skills you have already mastered, think of them as an action word ending with ing, such as building teams, marketing products, analyzing data, telling stories, simplifying complex ideas, crunching numbers, or presenting in front of groups. If you choose a subject mastery, get very specific about the subject. Don't just say that I'm mastering business. Get more granular in a specific business component, such as operations, marketing products, marketing services, subscription-based business models, finance, human resources, leadership development, product development, food services, or customer service. It makes it easier for you to focus when you see your progress. It makes it easier for you to focus and see your progress when you are specific. When you get specific, you may feel like your focus is getting too narrow, but that is exactly what focus is. If you want to master money, money has many offshoots, from cash to stocks to bonds to cryptocurrency to precious metals to Forex, and within each of those offshoots, the rabbit hole runs even deeper. You also find that what seemed like a small niche from the outside looking in is actually an entire world within itself for you to explore and master. As my friend Ash Cash always says, the riches are in the niches. Your most high income skill comes from the Most High. Your most high income skill comes from the Most High. However, you have the discipline to develop it, hence the word disciple. Do not bury your talents. Okay. So your most high income skill comes from the Most High. It's already given to you. Now it's up to you to be disciplined, right? To develop it like a disciple. And please do not bury the talents that were given unto you. We are encouraged, to be jacks of all trades by the education system. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday. They want you to get an A in everything. The A stands for average. The A stands for average. Yes, it may be the first letter in the alphabet. It may look like the highest grade, but it actually stands for average. Everybody type that. A stands for average. Because this is what they were telling you to do. Get A's in every subject. If you come home with 5 A's and 1 F, most people will tell you to focus on your area of weakness. But while you focus your attention on your area of weakness, what happens to the things that you were good at? What tends to happen is that your areas of weakness improves, but the things you were good at worsen. So you come home with 5 A's, you get 1 F, and then everybody's mad at you for this F. Why'd you get an F, this and that? Now you're going to get a tutor and this and that. You're going to spend more time here. You're going to go to after school program for this. So now you've built up this F, which was really hard because that's your area of weakness. For whatever reason, science didn't catch for you. Math didn't catch for you. English didn't catch for you, whatever it is. So you spent all this effort and energy trying to elevate this one single grade, right? And while you were doing that, you stopped focusing on these other things that you were good at. And this is how you end up average. This is why A stands for average, family. Okay. You have to navigate your weaknesses, right? But you don't have to turn them into strengths. This is the formula for being average. Your value in life will not be determined by showing the world that you can do what everyone else can do. Your value in the world will not be determined by showing the world that you can do everything everyone else can do. Your highest value will be in the one skill that you can do that nobody else can do. And yesterday I gave you the example of Caesar from Planet of the Apes. He had the skill of speaking English. Therefore, that made him valuable because there's only 2 apes that could speak English, right? So we don't want to be in this monkey see, monkey do paradigm like the education system teaches us. Think about the 1 or 2 skills you would bank the next decade of your career on. What skills do you have or do you think will be extremely valuable in the near future? And what can you do to improve your mastery of them right now? So is AI affecting your industry? How do you look at healthcare and artificial intelligence? And how can you be the thought leader in that particular area, right? What's coming down the road for those of you who are teachers? What's coming down the road in terms of education? What's going to be the greatest skill set? Is it going to be getting kids' attention? Getting and keeping kids' attention? And how can you go train teachers all over the country how to be more engaging in the classroom, right? Or what kind of online training can you teach for that? What kind of methodology or framework can you teach for that? So you're not just teaching kids now, you're actually teaching teachers who teach kids, and therefore you've actually multiplied your impact because the kids are distracted. Kids are suffering from ADHD, right? So you see how you have to look down the road and say, what skill is going to be most valuable 3, 5, or even 10 years from now? And how can I start developing the mastery of that skill right now so that I can benefit from the riches that come from that skill in the future, right? I know some of you are like, oh, Jullien, I just need to make money right now. But your skills haven't changed. So you can't just make money. You can't just get something for nothing. Nothing in you has changed, so you can't make any more change than you're already making. Is this making sense? So people say, follow your passion and the money will follow. But a better path to create wealth is to find a problem you are passionate about solving. Master the skill needed to solve that problem, and then the money will follow. Okay? So again, find a problem. You hear the language pattern. Find a problem you are passionate about solving, not just looking for your passion. Now, there are some passions that just straight monetization. So Pez dispensers, Beanie Babies, Comic Con, right? There's comic lovers. That's just pure passion. It's not really solving a problem, but there's people who are just passionate about it and have built community around it, built events around it, etc. But in most cases, I would say in 70 to 80% of cases, you need to find a problem that you are passionate about solving, okay? Then you have to develop the skill sets to actually solve the problem, right? And then from there, the money will follow. Knowing what makes you great allows you to strengthen your uniqueness. Knowing where you have gaps or deficiencies allows you to know when to ask for help and who to surround yourself with. So you don't have to be a straight A student as an adult. You have to identify what your zone of genius is. And anytime you're about to step out of that zone of genius into a red alert area, that's where you need to ask for help or hire support, right? Or pay for support. Stay in your zone of genius. There are so many other geniuses out here. You don't have to figure it out. And there's no way that you could understand this issue in the way that they see it because they spend their entire life looking at that, right? So you think that you're just going to watch some YouTube videos and be able to understand this area in the way that somebody who's been doing it for 10, 20 years understands it? No. You might get a high level and that may give you some perspective, but you won't understand the nuances. And it's the nuances that actually make the true difference in success. We say that heaven is in the details, right? And your eyes have not been trained to see the details of that. You may think that building a house is just put up some 2x4s, put up some wall, this and that. But somebody who's been building houses for years and even decades understand all the nuances that go into actually building a house. But because you're new to it, you can only see so much. They see the unseen. They see the unseen. And so stay in your zone of genius. Knowing where you have gaps or deficiencies allows you to know when to ask for help and who to surround yourself with. The world's most successful people aren't great at everything. They have identified 1 or 2 skills and mastered them. They know that the upper right-hand box in the skills values matrix, as we talked about yesterday, is where their highest value is, and they automate, outsource, and delegate everything else. It's impossible to be great at everything, and it's better to be great at 1 or 2 things than to be good at a lot of things. Specialists tend to get paid more than generalists. Specialists tend to get paid more than generalists. I know some of you are like, Jullien, well, I'm a jack of all trades, and there are a few people who are meant to be jack of all trades because then they can tie everybody and everything together. They know enough of each particular industry or every role that is necessary to create this vision, and they can quarterback and orchestrate from a bird's eye view because they have dabbled in everything. But those are very rare people, and by and large, specialists tend to get paid more than generalists. Okay, so that concludes intellectual capital. That concludes intellectual capital. Now we're going to move into social capital. So personal capital, how well you know yourself. Intellectual capital, what you know. Now we're going to go into social capital, which is who you know and who knows you. It's not just who you know, but it's also who knows you, right? How many people can you call who are where you want to be and can mentor you? How many people can you call who are where you want to be and can mentor you? Go ahead and type that number in chat. Like, they are living the life that you envision, that you desire, that you want. We're not trying to copy them, right? But are you close to anybody who has what you desire? Who can you call on when you need professional or personal advice? How many friends can you call on if you needed help moving tomorrow? How many people's couches could you sleep on for a month if you needed to? If you were trying to raise $100,000 for a cause or campaign you cared about, who could you call on to help you raise it? And who could you call on to donate? Right? These are real questions. So it's one thing to have a lot of friends and a lot of contacts, but can you call on these people in critical moments? That's how you really know the strength of a relationship. Most friendships are based off of convenience, right? But you don't really know a true friendship until it's inconvenient. Oh man, you need me to help you move tomorrow? All right, I'm there, right? You really don't know a true friendship until something inconvenient happens and you see who shows up and who doesn't. Your social capital has very little to do with how many friends you have on social media. It's all about who is committed to your personal and professional growth and vice versa. Your social capital can consist of your friends, but all relationships aren't created equal. All relationships aren't created equal. Nehemiah Davis said, if you're the smartest person in your circle, it's not actually a circle, it's a cage. It's a cage. Higher capital relationships include mentors, seasoned professionals, professors, counselors, coaches, advisors, and peers committed to your greatness, which I call your successful friends. You know, I had to stop. I used to call everybody friend, right? Because that just seems to be like this general category, especially when you had to befriend people on Facebook. You just started calling everybody your friend. But everybody ain't really a friend, family. Okay? So you have acquaintances, you have friends, you have your inner circle, you have your advisors. There's levels to this, right? And then you have your family, which is your brothers and sisters. Then you got your actual family. So all friends are not created equal, okay? So these type of higher capital relationships, like I said, mentors, seasoned professionals, professors, counselors, coaches, advisors, and peers committed to your greatness. These are what we call successful friends, right? You have social friends and you have successful friends. Connections and capitals are not one and the same. Connections, right, and capital are not one and the same. Facebook allows you to have 5,000 friends or social connections, but those are likely weak connections. Social capital means that you can leverage those relationships and their capital for a vision specific to a vision and specific goal that you have. So if you have all these quote unquote friends, but you can't leverage any of their capital or that capital towards that goal, then it's not really valuable to you. It's only valuable on Friday night and Saturday night when it's time to go out. Okay. So we want to focus on higher level relationships with people. All right. Networks can grow in many directions: up, down, across, and out. Your networks across is made up of your quote unquote friends. That's the easiest network to build because these are your peers. You may have grown up together or you went to school with each other and are at similar stages of life, so it's easier to relate to people across. Networking down means connecting with people who are younger than you, such as your children, siblings, their friends, and mentees. They can keep you young and expose you to trends and things you were too old to catch. Networking out involves getting out of your natural environment or comfort zone and actively seeking to meet people who you might not otherwise meet. So it means going to that conference even though you know you'll only be the only black woman at that conference, and being open and meeting people, going to that event that interests you, but you're going alone. There's nobody going with you. And so you're going to be forced to meet people. This could mean joining in a national organization or going to their national convention where you meet people with similar interests from all over the country or world. This could also mean finding local events or programs where you likely won't know anybody yet. Yet is the key word, right? So this is networking out, not just being confined by existing circle. Oh, my circle's small, this and that. That's cool, right? Yes, your inner circle should be tight, but you don't want to be limited just by 3 people or 4 people. We always want to be expanding our perspective. Networking up is perhaps the most powerful form of networking you can do. Networking up means building relationships with mentors, alumni, community leaders, business leaders, and people who are where you want to be or know what you want to know. Okay? One relationship upward, listen to this. One relationship upward could be equivalent to the value of 20 relationships across. One relationship upward could be equivalent to the value of 20 relationships across. Your friends can get you to the door you're trying to get into, but wouldn't you rather know the person who has the key or who is on the other side of the door and can actually open it for you? What's more valuable, the person who can get you to the door or the person who's actually on the other side of the door and who has the key? Okay, this is the power of networking up. These are the kinds of people who will write you letters of recommendation, make personal calls to potential employers or investors, and expose you to unique opportunities that end up on their desk. To build these kinds of relationships, you must have the middle seat mentality. Can I get a window seat? Don't want to next to me. Some of y'all got that Erykah Badu window seat mentality. I need you to have the middle seat mentality. All right, everybody type that. Middle seat mentality. I'm going to explain to you what it is. Most people avoid the middle seat on an airplane because they feel squished between the person in the window seat and the aisle seat. But the benefit of the middle seat is what, y'all? Is that you easily, it allows you to easily meet two people, right? Whereas the other seats only put you in position to meet one person. If I'm in the window seat, I'm likely only going to connect with the person who I might not connect with anybody, right? I might just fall asleep on the window, or I can talk to this person. If I'm in the aisle seat, the only person I have access to is this person. Usually I'm not talking across the aisle, right? But if I'm in the middle seat, I now have access to these two people. Now, I'm not saying go buy the middle seat on an airplane, right? I'm not saying that. It's a mentality. It's about positioning yourself to be in contact with the most people possible, okay? I'm not saying that you need to take the middle seat. I actually encourage you to sometimes, but it's really about your positioning wherever you are. You're at an event. What would the middle seat be? Where can I go? Don't just go sit at the table with two people. Sit at the table with 8 people, right? And get into that conversation, right? This is the middle seat mentality. So the benefit of the middle seat is it allows you to easily meet two people, whereas the other seats only put you in position to meet one person. The middle seat mentality means that you always seek to put yourself in a position to meet the most people wherever you are, whether you're on an airplane, at a party, or at a networking event. Now, I'll add that it's not always about the most people, because if you're really strong at networking, you'll actually know who's going to be at the event, and you'll actually have targets. You'll actually have targets, and you'll really be putting yourself in position to meet specific people. Oh man, I know that person is invested in companies similar to mine, and the event is going to have 1,000 people, but I'm really just trying to get in contact with that person, and that person. I'm really trying to meet 3 people here, and I'm going to do whatever even just going to the event is putting me in closer proximity position. But now, once I get there, I have to identify with them, and then I have to find situations or ways to put myself in position to be near them. Is this making sense? That's even a higher level of networking. Right now, I'm just teaching you the middle seat mentality, right? I just want you to meet new people and get access to new perspectives. Okay. It is easy for us to recreate our high school social scene and sit at the same table and eat with the same people in the cafeteria every day. But doing so cuts us off from meeting other amazing people who are less than a hello away from us. Literally, there's just a hi. And once you say hi, the conversation just unfolds, even if it feels awkward for the first minute. But literally, there are people who have the power to change the financial trajectory of your life who are literally just a hello away. Social capital is powerful because, watch this, with each person in your network who's really committed to you, you gain access to their personal capital, which is how well they know themselves, their gifts, talents, strengths, and skills. You gain access to their intellectual capital, what they know. You also gain access to their social capital, who they know and who knows them. And sometimes you even gain access to their financial capital. This is why they say your network is your net worth. So when I meet one person, I'm getting access to all of who they are based on the level of trust in that relationship and the depth of that relationship. That's why it's really, really powerful to network. Okay. But usually not networking at networking events, because everybody's trying to get something for nothing in those kind of environments. By network, I want you to change your mindset. Is just that I'm seeking to meet new people in in reality, you actually don't know who the right person is to meet sometimes, right? You may judge based on appearances and this and that, but you never know. You never know who could be a major contributor to your life vision. So that requires you to stay open and not judge people or books by their cover. All right. So let's get into financial capital, or let's just start that really quickly. Actually, yeah, because then we have human capital and physical capital. Actually, what time are we at? Yes, let's get into financial capital a little bit. All right. Number 4, financial capital. Financial capital, this is an interesting definition, okay? But listen very carefully. It's who knows that you know what you know. See, financial capital is not just money. It is who knows that you know what you know. Let me start to break it down for you. Of course, your financial capital includes your own assets, such as your checking account, savings account, retirement accounts, stocks, and real estate. But the wealth you want isn't in your possession yet. The wealth you want isn't in your possession yet. Someone else has it. Okay? Someone else has it. So I want you to look at financial capital in a different way. Financial capital is who knows that you know what you know. I'm going to repeat that. It's who knows that I know what I know. Your financial capital grows at the intersection of your intellectual and your social capital. Your intellectual capital, right, is what you know. Your social capital is who you know and who knows you. And the more people that know that you know something that is valuable to them, guess what's going to happen? The more financial capital that will flow your way. Okay? When the right people know that you know a lot about a subject or can execute a skill that solves a problem they have, that's when financial opportunities flow. The reason I get paid for what I do today is because the right people, my social capital in real life and on social media, know that I know a lot about mastering money, manifestation, and multifamily real estate, my intellectual capital. And when those two things intersect, financial opportunities emerge. Okay? Financial opportunities emerge. So I'm just going to tease you with that right now. And we'll have 5 pages tomorrow. But financial opportunities emerge at the intersection of your intellectual and social capital. See, it may have served you to be it may have served you in high school, right? To keep your intelligence to yourself. You didn't want people to think that you were the nerd, right? Even though you had good grades, you didn't tell your friends because you wanted to be perceived as cool. And so in high school, that may have worked for you. But in adult life, you hiding your brilliance and your intelligence is actually costing you millions of dollars. Okay? So again, in high school, you hid how smart you were so that you could be perceived as cool. Fine. That was high school. As an adult, it is now important for everybody who can benefit from your knowledge and your skill sets to know that you have this knowledge and these skill sets so that you can bless them and in return be blessed by them. Okay, so we're going to continue into financial capital tomorrow, and then we're going to go into human capital, which is another way to expand, and physical capital. These are the two capitals that are outside of you, and we'll conclude this chapter on the 6 forms of capital. Is this reading blessing you? Is this particular chapter blessing you all? So again, we did personal capital, how well you know yourself, intellectual capital, what you know, social capital, who you know and who knows you. And now we're stepping into financial capital, which is who knows that you know what you know. So I want you to sit with that for the next 24 hours and really explore. Do I hide my brilliance? Do I hide what I know? Do I just want to be discovered, right? Like these talent search shows. Do I just want to be discovered and hope that somebody sees how brilliant I am? Or do I actually need to develop my personal brand and share with the world how brilliant I am, not from a boastful place, but from a place of being able to bless, not from boast, but from being able to bless as many people as possible. Okay. So again, we are going to have graduation on December 9th in Atlanta, right? There will be Zoom, but I really encourage you to come in person. We've been on the internet together for 2 months now. and it'll be about 3.5 months by the time we're done. And it's really time for us to connect in person and start really building this rich and righteous family. And so I want you to pull up, come to Atlanta, and all the details are at rrgraduation.com. rrgraduation.com, so we can actually start meeting each other. I mean, the vibe in the chat is already strong. Imagine the vibe in that room when we get together. So again, it's going to be our opportunity to do testimonies, to share your breakthroughs that occurred over this period of time that we've had together. I'm going to do a teaching. I'm going to do book signing, right? And we're going to get opportunities to meet each other so that you can have these connections and relationships in real life, not just in chat on YouTube or on social media, but in real life going forward. All right. So pull up and go to rrgraduation.com for all the details to register for that and get your seat. And with that, let's just conclude with, be God to yourself. Right? Love yourself as God loves you. Be master over yourself in the way that God is master over you. And of course, remember that you are first cause or God in your own life, meaning that no individual, institution, or situation outside of yourself has more power over the trajectory of your life than you, family. All right. So we'll continue and conclude this particular chapter on the 6 forms of capital tomorrow. I pray that you have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you soon. Much love. Peace.
What's up, y'all? It's Jullien from the Multi-Family Movement, and this is my community behind me. It's 300 of us out here in Baton Rouge for our tour of our commercial properties, our flips, our vacant lots. We're also raising money just to build this real estate portfolio collectively through group economics. So it's so beautiful to see everybody here. We 6 buses deep. This is also our building behind us at Legacy on 14th Street. So this is real estate in real life, and this is real people. This is not just some online community or course. We out here really doing it together as a collective. So this is family, multi-family movement in the building. Everybody say multi-family on 3. It's family. Yeah. The whole crew, y'all. So when you want to learn how to get in the game,